right, guys, it's Chris Pree with smartrealestatecoach.com, and we've got some high six members here, 3 to be exact, that I wanted you guys to hear from. I don't know where this will end up, but whether you're seeing it on YouTube or the QLS or wherever, I think it'll help you to see more and more deals was the whole idea to do this. If you guys can introduce yourself, name, state, and how many deals you've done so far, that'd be great.
Okay, this is Link. I live in North Carolina, and I do business in North and South Carolina. I'm right on the border of both. I've done 2 deals this year. Looking forward to more. Two
during the high six mastermind, and then one more you hopefully getting done this week, right?
Well, correct. Yeah, I mean, I've got another deal I'm working. I've got several in the works, but I mean, I don't like to count them until they're.
I won't jinx you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bill.
Hi, my name is Bill Reich. I'm in Washington, D.C., and I cover D.C., Virginia, and Maryland. And I've got 5 in the hopper with a 6th scheduled to close this week. And knock wood, another 2 following closely on its heels. So next week or so, I should be up to 8 deals.
Yeah, and Bill, I'll say this: I'm not going to jinx you or anyone else, but I think you'd be the first one to hit your 10 deals as I-6. That's pretty cool. And Bill, along with Mike, will be doing some coaching with us, and I'm sure everybody will at some point. But just so that the listeners hear that, they might be meeting you sooner than later, anyway. And Claudia.
I'm Claudia Dill. I'm in Arizona, working primarily the southern part of the state. And I have 4 completed deals that are occupied homes. And I have 1 other property that I'm looking for a tenant buyer for. And I have another property that I will be hopefully having an appointment on within a day or so.
Fantastic. So just for the viewers, and then we'll jump to 1 deal each at least. When you guys hear this, if you're new to the paydays or you just starting QLS or wherever you are in your learning curve, the average deals for us here is around 75 grand a deal for all 3 paydays. Claudia's might be, she can correct me when we get to the deals, but a little lower, like maybe 50, low 50s or something like that. Not too shabby, but I think Bill's is upwards of 6 figures. I'm not sure on Links. Links might be close to Claudia, coincidentally. So with that as a backdrop, just so you know, when they say 2, 4, 5 deals, you're talking about a significant amount of money on all 3 paydays. Link, let's go to yours first, and I'll kind of set the format, and we can talk about whatever we want. It's open book, but kind of the source of the deal, and then the 3 paydays, and any nuances in the deal, maybe.
Okay. Well, the first deal I want to talk about is my first owner finance deal, and it was expired. And then they came back and listed it themselves for sale by owner, and that's when I called them. It was a house that they had a renter in. They actually tried to do their own rent-to-own program, and the renter got behind a couple of months and then bailed out on them and left them with a house they needed to repair. So, I mean, they were anxious to do something, and I bet they liked the idea. So it ended up being a house I paid $140,000 for, which was top of the market, or pretty close to top of the market. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, nice little community, and a pretty inexpensive house. It was on the upper end for that particular house. So I ended up pricing the house at $179. Took about 60 days to find a buyer, but primarily because I was trying to speed up the system, ended up shortcutting the system. I got away from doing what you guys teach and recommend, and I was trying to do it my way to simplify it, because I get tired of Bill talking about all the buyers. I got all these buyers, they're driving me crazy. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to set these buyers up. I'm going to find a quick buyer in a hurry. And it wasn't the right way to go about it. And I realized that after talking to Nick. But anyway, came back around and I found a buyer in about 60 days. So payday 1's going to end up being $17,900. Payday 2, I didn't have much spread because I've got insurance on this. I've got taxes, things I didn't really take into consideration when I was pricing the payments to buy it. Payday 2 is going to be about $2,700. Payday 3 will be a good one, though. After the 36 months, the payoff's going to be $103. with a 161.1 balance minus the 103, it's 58.1, leaving me with a $78,700 deal on a house I paid $140,000 for.
That's so cool.
And I might have $2,500 of my money invested in the deal because it was an owner finance and I did pay the closing costs. But essentially, I mean, that's on the high end of costs we ever have in any deals.
Yeah, no. So that's a good point, Link. People listening, if you're going to do an owner financing deal at the beginning of your, let's call it career, right? Your run here, you can't expect the seller to take no money down and then pay his own closing costs. It usually doesn't fly. I think I did one that we got away with it. Link, I had a question. So
Okay.
I must have forgot. So this owner did try to do their own rent to own before they went to you.
They did. And they had like most stories, they didn't have a plan. They didn't have any money down. They just were hopeful that it would turn into something. And, it just like usual, it doesn't.
Yeah. So they had a glorified renter if they had no money down.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly what they had, was a glorified renter.
Cool. So you were a welcome, I won't say hero, but welcome breath of air.
It was a mother and her daughter's husband. It was three of them, and they had relocated. They wanted to be done. They were so ready to be done and know that something was going to be taken care of. And they kept asking questions, and then they'd go talk to each other and come back and go, "You told Mom the same thing you told me." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm telling you the truth. It's simple. It's straightforward. It's easy. It's not difficult. It might be different than you've thought of, but it's not difficult." And so it ended up being a really good deal. Put in a nice family. They're happy with the house, and everything's great.
I love it. And then again, just a note for if people are new, the owner finance deals, it blows people's minds that, okay, you bought it for 140 and you profit 78. Just people can't fathom it, but most of that's because of the massive principal pay down. That's the deal on all these deals. It's pretty hard not to get a close to six-figure deal, and this is low end, on an owner financing. I mean, it's a shoe-in.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, honestly, I've got $2,500 invested in this deal that's going to make almost $80,000. I don't have $140,000. I didn't pay that and flip the property. I've got $2,500 invested.
Right. And on that note, no personal signature, no bank loans, no nothing.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
You guys can feel free to chime in if you have any questions, but those are the ones I thought. Oh, I have a thought, and everybody can comment on this after you do your deal. Like you had some epiphanies, you said when you talked to Nick, but also at the High Six Mastermind. I think everybody had their own epiphanies, but any comments on the High Six Mastermind? Because they get, for the listeners, they get an extra mastermind, just the High Six.
Right. Well, no, I mean, I had all kinds of epiphanies, but it was great to see everybody together and see, like, the meeting's over. No, I'm sorry. It was the night before, and me and Bill and Sergio and Don and Don's son, we're all standing out in the hallway just looking at where the meeting's going to be. We stood out there for an hour and a half brainstorming, trying to figure out ways to find more business. I mean, we're all in this together, and where there's no gray area. There's no hidden information. It's very transparent. We share everything, and it's just really, really beneficial to see that we're all struggling with the same things. We're all working around the same things, coming up with better ways to do the same things. I mean, it's refreshing to be involved with a group of people that are all on the same page and all working forward.
It is a cool group, and just a big highlight here, because I'll say most educators, I'll be broad and say most educators, it's all fluff. You got, clearly it's not a get rich quick. You guys are working your butts off, and it's just predictable when you do it the right way. Cool. I appreciate you sharing. And then any comments you have, like as we go, Mr. Bill, you want to do one deal for now? We'll see what we have for time.
Yeah, that was a great evening that Link was alluding to when we were all just kind of BSing out in the hallway, because I came away from that meeting. I didn't really know Link until that time, and I came away from that meeting thinking, I want to be Link when I get older. So, that was good.
Yeah, that's funny, Bill. That's real funny. Where's Sergio when you need him?
Yeah, really, I'm Sergio Light. So the house I want to talk about was taken, I guess, about 3 months ago, and it had been listed for about 6 months with a family friend who was the realtor. And this is in the far western suburbs in Virginia. It's about 20-something miles outside of Washington, D.C. House was on the market for, I think, $640, and I agreed to pay the sellers $640,000. This came from an expired listing, and we were just lucky at the time. We called, boom, got in touch with them. They ended up getting rid of the agent who made my life very difficult. I won't go into the story, but once we got up and running, I didn't have a whole lot of traffic. Maybe it's because we went through the winter months, although in some of my markets we had a lot of activity. This house didn't have that much. I was able to take a potential buyer who had been looking at one of my other houses who was shut out because he didn't act fast enough. He ended up calling me off of my website and said, "How about this house?" And I said, "That's a lot more than you were looking to spend." So long story short, we ended up qualifying him. He had already been working with our credit repair company. I got good feedback on him. Unlike most of my applicants, he was going to qualify in 24 to 36 months. Most of my applicants have qualified within 12 to 24 months. So it's a different scenario. I ended up paying $640. We sold it to him for $689.9 because I was concerned about the fact that the total rent, because of the underlying mortgage, was going to be higher than the market rent. I was able to get a $500 a month rent credit from the seller for the duration of the lease. And the real plus, the reason I paid his asking price was there's $1,500 a month principal pay down, which was fine, whatever you want, $1,500, I'll take it. The bottom line on that deal is I make very little on the first payday. I was able to get $40,000 down, basically in 2 chunks of $10,000 each. I've already collected 10. We just got the other 10. And then we've got payments of about $3,000 a month every 3 months for the term of the lease. So that's going to get them up to $40,000. They're moving in on June 1st. The second payday is minimal because the rent I was able to achieve was about $3,900 versus essentially it's a break even. I make over 3 years, I make about $216 on the rent spread. But the third payday, because of the rent credit of $500 and the principal pay down, if he qualifies in 2 years, it's going to be about $113,000 total. But if it runs the full 3 years, it's $140,000 for the 3 paydays.
So that's when you're probably going to keep your finger on the pulse and help this buyer really get on.
And I like the guy, so that'll make it very easy for me. Yeah.
I mean, $1,500 a month is like doing an owner financing deal by itself and getting that $1,500 a month.
Exactly.
I would forego the spread, the number 2 spread all day long. That's sweet deal. Let's see. I wrote a couple things while you were talking. Well, one note, when you first started, I was thinking DC, as I said today, Bill, on that interview you saw me on, I didn't know you were watching. I said to him, all the markets are different, because he said, are there restrictions or the market cycles? I said, yeah, but it's just a matter of how many lead slips or property slips you need to get a deal. Other than that, doesn't change. So it's interesting that you got North Carolina, DC, and Arizona, 3 entirely different markets, if you think about it. And you guys are all talking pretty much the same music.
Yeah. I mean, the median price in DC area is $550, which is crazy because I hear some of these folks, some of my partners around the country getting excited about a $300,000 deal, and sometimes I'll turn my nose up at a $300,000 deal because of the shape it's in. So, you know, it's all relative.
Yep, and it works everywhere.
Maybe it's a tougher audience here. It's a tougher sell sometimes.
Yeah, but hey, I don't think any listeners, and I know all the associates would agree that your deal's a nice. I mean, 100-something grand. What's the total 3 paydays on that?
For 3 years, it's 140,224. Give or take a few pennies.
Real cool. You guys have any comments on Bill's deal? That's a sweet one.
I want one of those.
You got it.
Okay.
When he gets too many, he'll assign you one of his.
Yeah.
There you go.
Out of the kindness of his heart. All right, Claudia, what do you got for a deal? And you guys, any comments you got, you can chime in.
I'm going to go over a deal that I did just a few months ago. It was a home that they were trying to sell. It had not, I think it had either expired or canceled. I can't remember what the story was on that. But they were locked on to, they wanted $200,000 for their house, no matter what. So we ended up doing takeover payments, and then giving them the difference between $200,000 and that at the end of the cash out, which amounted to $26,546. So they're going to be getting $26,500 when the house closes out. At that time, the balance was 172.5, 172.6 essentially. So the houses for sale or sold for $219.9. The 10 buyers came in with a total over time deposit of 22, which amounts to approximately 10%.
Okay, your connection is a little tough, Claudia. So let me make sure for a summary. So payday one's around 22.5.
22.2. Uh-huh.
22.
Payday 2 is let's see, what is it? Monthly. Well, doesn't matter what the monthly is. The payday 2 overall will be $8,000.
Okay.
And in the back end will be $31,193. So we'll be coming out at $61,481.
50, 60, yeah, 61 grand. Okay, and that seems to be, I don't know if you've checked, but is that about your average?
It's a little bit higher. I've been, as you said, running right around 50. My latest one, if it goes 3 years, which it's not scheduled to do, but you never know, would come out at 63.4. If it's 2 years, it will be 43.5. So mid 40s to mid 60s.
Okay, but as Link said, and Dave from Florida always brings this up, that we have little to zero money in these deals. So when you hear these guys going, oh yeah, it's just okay, it's 40-something grand. It's 40-something grand. So that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, and my combined houses will all come out to, so far, will come out to around 250, 240, 250.
For total.
Total.
Okay, I didn't ask those guys that. So Bill and Link, how about yours for total, all 3 paydays, when they're all done?
Well, what I have in the hopper right now, it's pushing 400,000.
Yeah, because I think you had 369 a little while ago.
Yeah, and so this latest one that's supposed to close the end of the week, I think pushes me up to over 4, like 4.25. And
nice.
I could be up to between 6 and 7 in the next 2 weeks.
And remember, when you hit 1 million, you got to be a guest on the podcast because you told me that.
Yep.
All right. It's a date. Link, do you know your number roughly?
Yeah, mine's roughly 160 with 2 deals. I mean,
nice.
Great. That's awesome.
I mean, I can live with that. That's right on track with the the averages.
You know what we should say too, and then we'll wrap this up, and if you guys have any last minute thoughts, but we should also, we did the states, but your backgrounds are all different. If you want to just give a 1 minute, your background, because Link, for example, you run a great business already. This is not like I got to have this tomorrow. So just share quickly, you guys, same order, 30, 60 seconds.
Well, I mean, my background, I've got a business degree that I grew up in West Virginia. We owned family businesses most of my life. I've always been around business. My wife and I, about 15 years ago, opened a medical practice. She's a nurse practitioner, and we opened a freestanding medical practice where she treats patients. We have slowly refined that to where now it's a cash only business where we have 2 employees, and our business has grown year over year over year over year for about 6 years now. I mean, it's a great business, and we just got started in this because we wanted to diversify a little bit.
That's great.
Didn't want to answer phone calls at nights and weekends with toilets and trash and tenants, and I mean, you know, that's just not having that.
That's awesome. Good for everybody here. And I almost forgot to do that. How about you, Bill?
My whole career has pretty much been in commercial real estate and investment real estate. And after the 2008 debacle, as you refer to it, I basically had to start over. And I started my own business development company, working for many of the people I worked with in the past 35 years here in the DC area, soliciting new business on their behalf, construction firms, architects, people like that. And just got tired of the grind, and I was looking for something brand new, and I had studied, I was really intrigued by the whole investment real estate field, and went from one mentor to the next, one teacher to the next, until I fell upon you. And I was absolutely sold by the way you do business, and the way you structure your company. Working with your family was very appealing to me. And I just like your blunt style, and I've become a lot like you. I want you to know that. Somebody told me today, you know, Bill, you're pretty blunt, and I've always been a diplomat, but I've gotten a lot more like you. It's been great, and it's my full-time gig. This is all I do. So I went from essentially what was a JOB to a capital J, capital O, capital B exclamation point. But I've never worked harder, and I've never had more fun. And I just love this business. And
Love it.
I'm looking to grow the business and scale to the point where I can work on my business and not in the business. And you and I are getting us there. So,
well, I was going to say, and I'm coming out again for an admin day. I was already there for 2 days in the field. And so we'll start working on next level stuff. And that gets to be fun. And you're going to be here again for the second visit at our office coming up.
Yep.
Good stuff. And as we wrap up, Claudia.
I have been I'm a retired physical therapist, and I just played a lot, lost a lot of money in the market, and so kind of stuck my head in the sand for a while and decided that's not going to work because, as you all say, that puts your butt up in the air to get kicked. So I ended up deciding to casually invest in real estate, and that worked, but not enough. And so I, again, like Bill, sought out numerous mentors, spent a lot of money looking for that. Ended up here, very happy I did, gave me a system, gave me support. I work alone, so it's challenging there, and the support has been amazing. Got me through the deals. Some of the deals have been far more challenging than others. And Chris is right there, Nick is right there, Zach is right there, and it works really, really well. So been doing this for a couple years, and it's paying off.
Good show. And we appreciate you guys. You've all said it, but the community, and you alluded to it about the meeting, the community we have with all you guys is just amazing. So I appreciate you taking 30 minutes with us, guys. And for those that are interested in learning more, really, depending on where you're seeing this, all you got to do is go to the free webinar. There's no complex system. Go to the free webinar. If it wets your whistle, you can dig more, and we'll be on the phone with you. Just go to smartrealestatecoach.com. Guys, thanks for being on again.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good to see you.